Hello guys, my name is Eric Patterson. Welcome to this new video. Today I'm going to show you how to add or delete an SSH key on GitHub. Before you continue, don't forget to click on the subscribe button so that you don't have to miss all our important video that we are going to shoot on Linux, DevOps, or AWS. So what is a private key and what is it used for in GitHub? So we use private key. We don't like private key like SSH key, right? The correct language. We use SSH key in GitHub so that we can go ahead and clone private repository, right? To clone private repository, you will actually need a key. Like to clone and push back private repository into GitHub, you will actually need to have an SSH key, right? You will need to have an SSH key. But for public repository, you don't need to have an SSH key. So you should always, if you have private repository, you should always generate an SSH key and go ahead and add that into GitHub so that that will allow you to clone private repository. When I say private repository, meaning that private repository into your GitHub account only, not into other people's GitHub account. So people that have their key added into your GitHub account will be able to go ahead now and clone private repository. So let's go ahead and generate the key and actually add that in GitHub. It's simple. We just have to go out, have this Ubuntu virtual machine that I created. So let's go ahead and create an SSH key, and then let's add that key. Now, I want to emphasize here that the key that is being added when you generate an SSH key, for example, like I will show you here, the key that is you have two keys. You have the public key that is being created, then you have the private key that is being created. The key that you need to actually share on GitHub have to be your public key. Never share your private key on GitHub. It has to be the public key. I will show you how the private key, the public key and the private key look like. So let's go ahead and generate a key. So to do that, we type a simple command SSH, not a capital letter, SSH hyphen keygen, right? SSH hyphen keygen, hit enter. It's going to ask you enter a file in which you want to save the key. It's better to save that on the default location, which is a home.ssh, right? So it's better we save it here. So go ahead and push that, and we have the key created. As you can see here, your identification has been saved in. It show you this. This one here is the public key, and this one here is a private key. Sorry, this one here is a private key, and this one here is a public key. Public because you see the extension is .pub, but this is the private key here. This is the key you want to put on GitHub, right? This key is the one you put on GitHub and is on this location. So the default location for this key, right? If you want to go where this key is, we can say cd, right? We say cd home, then you see .ssh is a hidden directory. If you do here, if I tap ls, I will be able to see these two keys here, right? Which represent these two keys here. Then I want to show you, for example, the difference. If I cut, for example, this private key, right? If I cut this private key, this is how it look like. But if I cut the public key, right? If I cut the public key, see the difference. So this is the private key, this is a public key, and you can see the difference between the two keys. But the key that you actually want to put on GitHub is actually your public key. So you go ahead, you copy your public key, go ahead, copy the public key. You have to copy everything. It's a really lengthy key, so make sure that you copy everything. You copy this key here, then you go ahead, you add that key into GitHub. So it's simple. When you go on GitHub, you click here, right? You click here to add a key on GitHub. So if I go home, for example, click here to go home, then you click here. You are seeing this because we have added a picture, right? We have added a picture into our account, but you can go ahead and you might not have a picture added, but it is this logo here, this round here. As you see in the shape of order, this one is round. So you go ahead and take this, then you go to setting here, right? After clicking on that, you come down here onto setting. Then when you get to setting, you go onto SSH and GPG key, you click here. Now, to add a new key, you can go ahead and say new key here. So you give it a name, right? I can say, let's call it, for example, teaching, right? Let's call it, for example, teaching. I paste that key here, okay? And then I can add the key. Simple. Now I have the key added, right? I have this key added. this key being added here, I will be able to clone, right? We will see what is cloning. I'll be able to clone actually private repository, right? I'll be able to clone private repository because I have the key actually added here, right? Seeing the key is being added here, I'll be able to use this and clone. Simple. Now, if I want to delete the key, it's simple. To delete the key, it's simple. If I click here on delete, it will say, hey, you cannot delete this key. Yes, but if you want to delete it, you just know that if you delete it, there's no go back, right? This is just like, hey, are you sure? Are you sure you want to delete this? There's no go back. If you delete this key, that's it. Yes, I want to go ahead and delete it, right? So that's how you add and delete a key in GitHub. So very simple. That's just how you add, then you delete the key on GitHub. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please go ahead and don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget also to like, and also don't forget to follow us. Also, if you go on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, and type DevOps Easy Learning, you will be able to see us there. We have interesting video and interesting feature that we also publish on those social media. See you guys next time.